The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of At the Heart of Business, a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. I'm your host, Judith Tate. My first guest today is Val V, founder of Ladies Who Dine. Welcome, Val.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. And you've been here before.
We did it online during COVID, I think.
Yes, yeah. That's right. So
Yeah.
not here in the studio, but here on the show. And I know a lot has happened since then, but tell us about Ladies Who Dine.
Ladies Who Dine is a woman empowerment networking group that I started back in 2012. It became a passion of mine for women to collaborate rather than compete with one another. When I owned a store in Whitby, a retail store, I saw that, women had a different way of thinking, and I wanted to change that. I wanted to create a community that actually helps each other and works together.
Mm-hmm. What was this way of thinking that you saw?
Well, I saw that if they thought you were successful, they wouldn't support you. They didn't want to help you.
Okay.
So I saw that my own friends would avoid coming into my store, and I thought, I have to change this.
Yeah.
So I invited other women in business to come and set up in my store for free, and said, let's work off each other. Let's grow together.
Yeah.
Rather than competing against one another.
I think that is that's so good, and it's so powerful. As women, I really feel that we need to support each other in business.
Yes.
Because it can be hard.
It's huge.
And a business can be very lonely as well.
Yes.
So, and I know we've talked about this, right?
Yeah.
And even though like we're in business together as a community, you feel so alone. So it's really important to have those powerful connections.
Yeah, you absolutely need them. You do feel alone. I feel alone a lot of the times.
Yeah.
I'm in front of my laptop doing everything by myself.
Yeah.
You are alone. And sometimes when you make connections, and you just have to bounce ideas off people, it's a great thing to have.
Yeah. So with Ladies Who Dine, like what happens at these events?
Well, we eat.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
So we go out to dinner. We did change the format a little bit, but we're doing like mini Ladies Who Dine, which is the original way, where we go to a small restaurant and we network and we eat and we make the connections. And then we have the bigger Ladies Who Dine where it's more elaborate, the flowers and speakers and education and stuff. So we're growing.
Yeah.
We're evolving.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And does that mainly take place in Durham only, or do you go all over?
Well, we have left Durham.
Okay.
Primarily we are in Durham, but I do want to grow it throughout the GTA.
Yeah.
Maybe across Canada.
Yeah.
But we have been in Mississauga, we've been in Markham, but yeah, we're growing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Grow it across Canada and go for dinner in, say, BC.
Let's go. I'm ready.
That's awesome. Okay, so you've had a lot of stuff happen since then.
Yeah.
Speaker Slam. It's a speaking competition.
Yes.
And you placed first. And how many speakers? I can't remember how many
That
speakers.
day was 10.
10 speakers.
Yeah.
And with this competition, if I recall correctly, you have something like 6 minutes to do? 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes to do your speech. So tell us all about that.
Well, I speak at my own events, and when I do trade shows and stuff, people like to hear me speak for whatever reason.
Yeah, you're fun.
So I thought, okay, I want to go after my speaking side of my career. So I went to Speaker Slam, absolutely fell in love with the community, and they were looking they had 2 spots left for Human Connection back in March. And I said something funny at the table, and another award-winning speaker said, "That's your speech." And I came home, signed up. 2 days later, I wrote my speech, and I went in and I won. I was just happy to be on stage.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that I got first.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
why couldn't you believe you got
Well,
first?
I just didn't expect it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I'm just like, it literally was like 32 days, like, or whatever.
Yeah.
I jumped in and I just did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Well, I was there
Yes, you were.
and I could not believe all the people you had there. You had to reserve how many tables?
A lot. There was 35 of you or 36 of you that came out to support.
Yeah.
And that's just speaks volumes of how, you know, the connections you make, because we connected on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Business, school, because we went to the same school.
Yes, that's right.
But yeah, that meant the world to me that
Yeah.
all of you came out to support me.
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
speaks to who you are.
Thank you.
And what is it like being, you know, a leader, a business leader in the community? What is that feeling like?
Thank you. Lonely at times,
Yeah.
you know, because you get a lot of good, but you also get bad with it, and you just have to deal with it, and it feels good. I just want to help people, you know, and I am very outspoken. I am very unfiltered. There will be a time where I probably will offend you, but it comes from the heart. It
Yeah.
truly does. I say things because I care.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of, you know, outspoken and unfiltered, let's talk about your shirt, Unapologetically Me.
That's right.
What does that mean?
I am who I am. You know, I've learned a long time ago that if you're not authentic, if you're not who you truly are, things just won't work out. You know, it's too hard to keep up. So, you know, my opinions are my opinions. I say what I say. I am who I am, and life is just so much easier to live that way.
Yeah. Yes, so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about your journey into entrepreneurship. Where did you get started? How
I started, well, probably from my parents. My dad always owned restaurants. We're Greek Macedonian, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we had the burger joints. I just struggled working for people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I knew I was a leader, and even in every position that I had, I grew quite quickly into a leader role. So I knew I wanted more. I knew I wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just in me.
And how many businesses have you had? Because I know you're doing a couple right now. So what?
I have my podcast, Ladies Who Dine, my
Yeah.
speaking career. Then I have a CBD company. My husband has businesses. So there's a few. Yeah.
And what would you say are, the challenges in, you know, being a multi-passionatepreneur, which is the way I like to phrase it?
My biggest challenge is probably social media.
Yeah.
Doing the content and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's because I'm just solo, right? My husband does nothing on social media whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I think it's being everything.
Yeah.
That's hard.
And how do you overcome that challenge? Because I find that's a challenge for me as well, like staying on top of the social media, consistently posting, also just knowing what to post, because you have to know who you're speaking to. You have to know, what your audience likes. Even just knowing a lot about social media, like what works, what doesn't work, what posts resonate.
Still trying to figure that out.
Well, that's the thing. And then there's the algorithms and trying to figure those out, which I don't know if anyone has figured them out yet.
I'm sure they have. You know what I mean? I haven't. I just post what I like, what the messages that speak to me, because I know what speaks to me will resonate with other people as well. Just coming here today, I recorded myself driving and just did text on top of me driving and tagged you in it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's going to work, but it is what it is, right? So I'm still in it. So I still have the challenges.
Yeah.
I haven't overcome it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you find that work-life balance, like managing a couple of businesses, family life, friends?
I'm very fortunate. You know, I have a very supportive husband, and we created a good system. You know, we're really busy in the summertime. We slow down in the wintertime, so this is our downtime. But it just works. You know, my family lives close. I have a handful of friends that I see occasionally, and it just works.
Yeah.
You have to make the time for it.
Yes.
You can't just be all about your business. You need time for yourself. You need time to recoup and regenerate.
Yeah. And what do you do to recoup and regenerate besides seeing your friends and hanging out with your hubby?
I love going out for dinners.
Of course.
I love being served, but I my guilty pleasure is reality shows.
Oh, really?
It's so bad.
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Which one?
All the Housewives.
Oh, really?
I absolutely love them. Big Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, just reality shows, Survivor.
Okay.
I just love it.
All right,
That's my
that's
guilty
good.
pleasure.
Well, I'm going to admit that my guilty pleasure at this time of the year are those Hallmark Christmas movies.
Okay, a few slide in there for sure.
They're great. So
Yeah.
tell us, like, what's next for you? What do you have coming up?
Well, because I won my competition at Speaker Slam, now all the winners get to compete at the Grand Slam on November 9th, which is next Saturday. And beyond that, I haven't thought about it. I just need to get to that point because I'm extremely excited.
Yeah.
Very excited. It's a very vulnerable speech,
Yeah. Okay.
and I'm nervous and looking forward to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the topic?
The topic is brave.
Okay.
So I struggled with that a little bit because
All
I thought, oh, brave. But when the topic came out, I received a ton of messages from women from the community and said, Val, you know, when I think of you, I think of brave. And I'm like, okay, maybe they see something in me that I'm not seeing in myself. You know, I wrote 3 speeches.
Yeah.
And the third one is completely, that's the one I'm doing. And
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Wow.
It's good.
What's it like preparing for something like that?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Memorizing.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And then you have to work on your pauses and, you know, your tones and stuff. It's exciting, but it's good.
And if someone wanted to go and see you speak, where is this happening?
It's actually happening at CBC Glen Gould Theatre, downtown Toronto. The links are all over my social medias. But yeah, it's Speaker Slam. It's an amazing community. If you're thinking of becoming a speaker or just want to dip your toe in the water and go and watch, you've been there. It's exciting. It's really good. It's a good organization.
Yeah, it's exciting. The energy is so good. It's motivating. And then, of course, Rena and Dan. Make sure you show them this. They're getting a shout out.
Yeah.
Rena and Dan. They are amazing, and I'm
They really
fascinated
are.
by what they've built.
They built an amazing community and so helpful. And you know, like we're competing with one another, and like the competitors, we're talking to one another. You know, it's amazing. It truly is an amazing community.
Yeah.
And they didn't pay me to say that. Like,
No, and you know what? It's what she says is true because I was a part of that community for a while, and they're fantastic. And I joined that community because I wanted to get more comfortable and more confident, you know, with speaking. I haven't competed. Actually,
should.
I did an online competition.
you
once.
did?
Yeah. And of course, I didn't win, but
Oh, that's okay. But you did it.
Yeah, I did it, and I learned a lot about myself. But I learned that it wasn't something that I wanted to pursue. But I think
you
it's an
go.
amazing community.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
So, in about 20 seconds, what words of advice do you have for women starting in business?
Don't listen to the naysayers.
Yes.
Follow your passion. There's going to be doubt. Work through that doubt. Follow your dream, and don't ever look back and think, oh, I should have did it. Just do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, Val.
Thank
This is great,
you.
and good luck.
Thank you.
Yes. And stay tuned. We'll be speaking with Tara McEwen of McEwen Media next.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
For me, it all started here.
I do my best work here.
Scores! Oh my goodness! This guy's dangerous from here, here, and here.
We're watching history in the making here.
Are you watching this?
And our fans are up here. I'm here for it. It's all about what's up here and what's in here.
Sportsnet, here for hockey.
This is Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to At the Heart of Business, a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. Our next guest is Tara McEwen, founder of McEwen Media. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thanks so much for being here. So tell us all about McEwen Media.
McEwen Media, I like to say it's the fastest growing media training and consulting company in Canada. I started this, like many businesses, back in the pandemic. So in 2021, was given the chance to leave network television. And I would love to say that I had a clear idea of what this business would be, but I didn't. All I knew was that I had finished 11 seasons of The Marilyn Denis Show, and I wanted to tell a whole bunch of different stories in a whole bunch of different new formats, and that's what it's morphed into today.
Okay. Yeah. So explain to us a little bit more about your why. Like, what do you mean, like, about stories? Talk about that.
When I started working with clients, a lot of it was working with businesses who wanted more media exposure, right? They wanted to get booked on television, they wanted to reach a larger audience. And what I realized was that a lot of people who they think that they want to get on television, what they really want is just to have a better connection with their audience. So I've morphed into also helping people in the social media space. There was this incredible, I've been exploring a lot, you know, what I can learn, what I can take from my experience in television and how I can apply it to the world of business. Getting booked on television is one thing, of course. Yes, bringing your story to the masses on a television platform, but then it's about, well, what do you do with that message afterwards? We're living in a very complicated era where a lot of audiences are receiving tons of information, and as a business owner, it's hard to navigate where your message is going, who you're reaching, and how you can bring it back to. So television, we're used to speaking to the unseen masses, so I'm just taking those storytelling techniques and understanding of an audience and helping people with their businesses, understanding their marketing on a deeper level.
Okay, so you don't necessarily work with people who only want to be on TV.
Yeah, that was the first. That was an easy hook. You know, for the longest time, my tagline was "I get you on TV."
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they wanted to get on TV just to talk about their business. And I would always say, hang on, television isn't looking, aside from this show, television isn't always looking for businesses. They're looking for stories. So it was in working with people on helping them develop their expertise so that they can offer value to a television audience. That was where I was working with a lot of business owners where that was where I noticed that it wasn't so much about them needing to be on television. They just needed better clarity on their messaging that they already had.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So how do you help people to, I guess, share their stories or bring out that message to their audience?
That's where I come in as the producer. The producers you work with producers. So producers have a superpower of being able just to hear a bunch of information and distill it into a way that is user-friendly to an audience. So that's what I do with the clients that I work with. We just sit and we talk. The story that they want to tell, the message that they want to have for their business, their values, who they are, it's already inside them. But they're struggling to share it because they're not sure how this is going to land. They're not sure if this is actually, you know, they haven't market research. They haven't A/B tested they haven't A/B tested their why. They haven't A/B tested their messaging. So they're getting inside their head as opposed to just sharing it cleanly and clearly and then giving it direction. So that's what I work with. I would describe it as everyone has their own show that they want to create and express.
Yeah.
So they're working with me to develop what this show Bible is, what the focus is, who they're speaking to, what content they're speaking to. It's just a way of an easier way of giving direction to what you want to share, so that you're always connecting the audience that you want to reach, and then making sure that conversation comes back to you, especially in the form of business. You want people reaching out to you. You want people following you. You want people signing up for your newsletter so that you can stay in contact and connection with them to promote your business.
So is this like where people share their stories? Is it mainly, or you help them to share it online, like say YouTube, Instagram, and like what are the channels?
Yeah, it's sharing everywhere. So my other superpower is, again, understanding audiences. It's not just the audience you're reaching, but it's their behavior and their expectations for where you're reaching them. So the YouTube audience is very different from the TikTok audience, which is also different from the Instagram audience. You might actually be reaching the same people on those different platforms, but they're receiving that information in a different way. So to me, it's about, especially with the clients that I work with, a lot of small business business owners, you're still DIYing your material a little bit. So where I always start with people is just to think what is content that you can produce consistently and well. If video is outside your comfort zone, if it's outside your skill set, then we're going to concentrate on blogs, photos, graphics, whatever it is that you can do to create, to share your ideas, share your specialized knowledge easily. If it's easy, you'll do it frequently, you'll do it often, and you'll commit to it. Especially with the way that audiences are receiving information, they need to hear the same messaging constantly, over and over and over again. It's about having that atmospheric presence as opposed to a one and done. So that's where it's more about the story is inside, so it's helping them figure out what that story is and what is the best way to tell it.
So what are the challenges, like any specific challenges that, business owners face in sharing their story?
I think a huge problem that I'm encountering is the story is inside them. It's inside their head, and it's very deep inside their head, especially if this is a business that they have created. It's their baby. They're the founder. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. So it's protected. It's like this treasure chest of information that they're keeping down inside. So it's about giving them the tools to allow that to come to the surface and understand what their story is to begin with. Sometimes we play it safe. We rely on market research. So we'll look at what the competition is doing. We'll look at what's trending. We'll look at what other people are doing and use that as the framework to tell our story. But that's why if you're frustrated, if you feel like you're sounding like everyone else, it's because you're using the same messaging and tactics as everyone else. If you spend a little bit of time turning inward of, well, what is my story? What can I share? What do people need to know from me? That's an instant way to stand out, because you're putting your personal stamp on your subject matter.
Yeah, so talk about the significance of sharing your message and not the same as everyone else, because I know it's so easy to fall into that trap, because you figure, well, this is how that person's doing it, so and they're getting good results, so maybe if I do the same thing, I'll get the same results. But tell us why that doesn't work or doesn't always work.
Successful marketing is this alchemy of the storyteller and the audience. So that is always different. So I always say, you can have a room full of accountants. They all offer the same service, but every accountant has come to that service in their own unique way. They have their own unique valuation. There's a part of accounting that they love that is different from someone else. So it's about getting specific and granular of, like, what is my particular stamp on this giant accounting umbrella? What is the one thing that I want to be known for? This was an exploration that I did even with myself as McEwen Media. Like, I started off being a publicist, helping people get booked on television. But the more I did that, the more I realized, well, I'm not actually leaning into my producing skills. A publicist is one thing, a producer is another. So how can I lean more into my producer skills? And that's where the messaging about understanding story, understanding audience, and also understanding the path of attention. Like, where is your information going? How can you control the messaging around there? So that's where my particular stance, there are tons of media coaches out there. There are tons of media trainers out there. My particular one is on extracting your authentic story. What is the story that you want to tell right now, and what can I do to bring that to the surface and help you share it freely and easily? You mentioned earlier about different platforms. When you are the face of your business, you are your business 24 hours a day. You never know when you're going to encounter your next opportunity. So if you have this compartmentalized, well, when I'm in this situation, I'm pitching it this way. When I'm in this situation, I'm pitching it that way. You're going to lose opportunities. It's about just allowing your brand story to then, in lack of a better words, become your identity, so that you're always able to promote in whatever platform or real life situation you find yourself in.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. So explain to us how the changes in media, they're affecting marketing.
The biggest change, I think, is just the volume of information that people have access to.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I started working in media 20 years ago. So when I was in journalism school, there were 4 different outlets. You could go into print journalism, magazines, television, radio. They tacked on websites as like a thing, like this might be something that you guys have to be concerned with. But this was before even Facebook came along. So I think social media, cell phones, information, we are bathing in information is the expression that I like to use. And that has drastically changed how consumers make their decisions. Because we don't have these concentrated pockets of receiving messaging and receiving advertising, we're bombarded with it. It's constant, it's all around us. So how do you stand out from the noise, and how do you create that human connection? I think for many businesses with their marketing, it's not about the price, it's not about the product, it's about the human and the values. People are looking for human connection, and they're looking for information first. So if you lean into that and then guide them to, well, these are the products that I have, this is what it costs, this is the investment, it's a bit of a 180 from how many businesses understand marketing. They think of, well, I have this avatar needs this product, and these are the price points that are going to attract them. That's the last conversation. That is at the end of the road. You actually want to lead with who you are, who you serve, what you value, and be the person that they're going to become invested in.
Oh, that's great. Wow, that's a lot. And I don't think there's too many people that fully understand and grasp that.
No, it is very. And I talk to a lot of other creators who are in the personal branding space, and we're all having the same conversation of, well, people don't understand how sophisticated and how challenging it is to have an authentic presence. It's the inner critic is always keeping us quiet, and it's also guiding us to how we should behave, how we should present ourselves. I've done a lot of work in the last 2 years of being in conversation with that inner critic. The inner critic is sometimes just the inner editor asking you, is this the best way to share your story? Are you going in the right direction? So the inner critic has a lot less power in my head. But even now, my inner critic is like, Tara, you're blasting Judy with too much information.
No,
you got to dial it down right now.
No, this is great information. I'm loving it, because I'm really engaged in this, because I've had my own challenges with just social media marketing and the content, and what do I say, and who's my audience, and oh man, especially figuring out your ideal client. Yeah.
The interesting thing, because especially when I first started, creating my own social media, the ironic thing is, it was the last thing on my radar. When you're starting a business, you start off with an idea, and then you realize, oh crap, now I have to, I can say crap, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Now I have to learn accounting. I have to become a lawyer. I have to draw up contracts. There's all kinds of new information that comes at you in order to build a successful business. Social media was the last thing on my that I could get to.
Okay. And we have about 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Yeah. Okay. So once I put that to the front burner and took it seriously and started treating my social media like a TV show. Yeah. Who am I? Who do I serve? And how do I want to serve them? Once I started creating from that point of view, the ideal client started coming to me.
Awesome.
They started coming to me, letting me know what they needed from me, and then Human Media has built itself from there.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. This was a great conversation, Tara.
Yes, that might be part one.
Yeah. Yes, we'll have to have you back.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. And thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on another episode of At the Heart of Business.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
These days at your local Legion, we're marching to the beat of a different drum. On a mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone to our ranks. You don't have to be a veteran to join the Legion. And as a member, you'll join thousands of others serving our